Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a very scary episode of the Harvey Hour. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this spooky, scary episode of the Harvey Hour?
Trick or treat.
Yeah, there you go. Weird. Holiday. Haven't really done many of these.
No, we've never done a show on Halloween.
I don't think we have.
I've got my costume on.
I think we did one on Christmas Eve a while ago. Yeah, Patriots. Wrong side, but that's fine. I don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't know what you're trying to do.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, we got a lot to break down tonight. Last night's game was pretty crazy. Lamar does what Lamar usually does in his return games. They did get fined $100,000 for last week's debacle with his injury designation, but a lot to talk about. Week 9, we're hitting the midway point of the NFL season. We're going to make all our picks and predictions over the about 30, 40 minutes now, maybe an hour from now. We'll see. Obviously, Harvey Hot Hand, another winning week. I actually really like the picks this week. A lot of good point spreads, a lot of favorable point spreads as well.
Big point spreads.
There are a couple out there, but I like a lot of them. But I do want to start off with this first topic of today's show, which is indeed last night's game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins, where, as per usual, what does Lamar do against the Miami Dolphins? He has 2 perfect passer ratings against them, and well, he damn near had a perfect one in this one. He crushed them. Absolutely dominated them. 18 of 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. The Dolphins did have 3 turnovers, and were 0 for 3 in the red zone. I mean, it was a rough game for Miami. After coming off an absolute dominant victory over the Atlanta Falcons, they reverted back into the Miami Dolphins of this season. Not of what we saw last week, so it was a pretty crazy game. Lamar's return game coming back from injury, it was, as you would expect from Lamar Jackson, very effective, maybe low passing yards, but that doesn't matter. 4 touchdowns is very impressive. 3 out of the 4 of them, I might point out, to tight ends, which is interesting as well. But I want to know, I'm very curious, what was your reaction to the Baltimore dominant victory over the Miami Dolphins?
My headline, Lamar hooks and reels in the Dolphins with 4 TD passes and a 28-6 Ravens win. My summary, it would have been a shame if the Ravens lost this must-win game, which turned out to be a big miss for the Fish because they couldn't stop Lamar, who was by far the Ravens star, throwing 4 TDs, 3 of which were to tight ends, which I'm sure now are his best friends. So the Ravens are now 3-5. In the AFC North, which the Steelers lead with a record of 4-3, who will likely lose to the Colts, putting the Ravens only 1 game behind, despite how terribly they played in the first part of the season. And I predict that the Ravens will win the AFC North. I look at their schedule. Next, they have the Vikings away. That's a win. Next, they have the Browns away. That's a win. Next, they have the Jets at home. That's a win. Next, they have the Bengals at home. That's a win. Next, they have the Steelers at home. That's a win. Then they have the Bengals away. That's a win. Then they have the Patriots at home. I think that's a win.
Ooh.
Then they have the Packers away. That's a loss.
Okay.
Then they have the Steelers away. That could be a loss. I think that could be a loss, the last game of the season. That gives them a 10-7 record. Now, let's look at the Steelers. The Steelers' schedule from here. They have the Colts on Sunday at home. That's a loss. They have the Chargers away. That's a loss. They have the Bengals at home. That's a win. They have the Bears away. I think that's a win, although I bet it will be a close game. They have the Bills at home. That's a loss. They have the Ravens at home away. That's a loss. They have the Dolphins at home. That's a win. They have the Lions away. That's a loss. In the last game of the season, they have the Ravens, which I think they'll win because they'll probably be fighting for a play. They'll be fighting for a wild card spot, and that gives them a 9-8 record. Ravens win.
Well, here's what I find interesting. I think they could do better than 9-8, because if what I'm looking at
the Steelers.
Oh no, the Steelers. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a better record than 9-8. Because
yeah?
I believe in Aaron Rodgers. But this defense needs to get fixed, and I'm going to talk about that. The defense is shockingly poor.
Well, then they are going to win. I mean, Aaron Rodgers can have a great games, and if the defense stinks, they're not going to win. And the defense has been terrible.
Well, the defense has been terrible, and I do think they're going to get absolutely torched by Indy. Hint, hint, wink, wink, maybe a Harvey Hot Hand pick. It's called the Tease, by the way. But yeah, no, this game was as expected. I don't think anybody was surprised that Lamar beat up on the team he always beats up on in the Miami Dolphins, and I don't think a lot of people were shocked that Tua and the Dolphins would have a poor game. I will say, though, and this is why I think that the Ravens, as expected, were 7.5-point favorites on the road, and me and you both picked that, and that's because 18 total touchdown passes against the Dolphins are the second most all time in 5 games versus only one singular opponent, behind George Blanda's 21 against the New York Titans. That long ago, that's the number one guy right there. But no, this was just all around exactly what you'd expect from a team that's given up. So much so that for some reason, the initial move of Stephen Ross after a 6-point performance is not to get rid of the quarterback, not to get rid of the head coach. It's to fire the GM. I understand why you made that first move. You had to make some change, and Stephen Ross said that. But to fire a guy who, yes, has had some really critical, really poor moves, and I'm going to get into that in our next topic when we really hone in on the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that should have been the move, but you know what? It's the first move they made, and it was a move they had to make. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, Lamar did what Lamar normally does. If you took the under on his rushing yards, smart coming back from the injury. You were smart to do that. I had a big parlay on this game as well. Made some money off that. But ultimately, no, the Ravens defense has been incredible since trading Oweh. Would you believe? After, giving up like 20, 30 points a game, they're now only giving up 13 per game since that trade Oweh to the Chargers. So I think right now their defense is picked up as they did. We spoke about that last year when we were discussing the Ravens. Okay, well, about the midway point through the season, their defense was terrible, and then from the midway point on, they were the number one scoring defense in the NFL, and they're starting to become that once again. I think ultimately this offense looks significantly better with Lamar out there, although it operated very nicely with Snoop Huntley over Cooper Rush. But yeah, with Lamar being back there, you could trust that the running game's going to be effective because, again, we saw it several times when the Ravens work play action with Derrick Henry running as effectively as he does and hit that magic number of attempts, 15 or more, and they won again. But yeah, when you have an effective running game, it doesn't matter whether it's Mitchell, whether it's Henry, whether it's Hill, whoever it is, you have an effective running game, and you work the play action, you bring the linebackers down, and we saw that several times where you bring the 2 linebackers down, all of a sudden you got plays over the middle of the field, you got plays on the sideline, and if you could work that, I mean, that's why the Lions offense has been as effective as it has been over several years, because you have a 1-2 punch combo. The defense has to keep guessing, whether you're running the ball or throwing the ball. So I think having that and having Lamar, obviously, his athletic ability behind the offensive line, I mean, he's the number one guy when he does it. He's one of the best pocket passes in the NFL, and his mobility is completely unmatched to anybody, really. So I think having Lamar back is massive. The defense is playing at a very, very high level. And hey, I mean, I'm with you. I completely believe that the Baltimore Ravens, they're turning things around instantly. They're going to take over this division, especially with the Steelers not being able to figure out the one thing Mike Tomlin does, and that's defense. I thought they'd hit a wall. Hitting it in week 8, week 7, that's not what I expect from a Mike Tomlin defense. I expect them to hit a wall, just not this soon.
Yeah. Well, the Ravens are getting defensive players back now. Van Noy was in uniform last night.
Kyle Hamilton suited up as well. Marlon Humphrey's back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very, very healthy right now.
Yeah.
I would also say this. Kyle Hamilton, he's a safety. In the first 15 snaps of the first quarter, he never lined up as a safety. Never. He was playing other outside linebacker, slot, edge, inside linebacker. He played completely up. And here's the funny thing. The Dolphins gained 1 yard on 4 carries while rushing at Kyle Hamilton. 3 carries, 31 yards when they rushed away from him. So he was a complete game changer in this one. Malachi Starks had a pick in this game. The pass rush was getting to Tua. Although a couple of, he had a sack there. I'm going to show the play when we really discuss the Miami Dolphins. There was a play at the end of the half where it was a Hail Mary and Tua just bobbing up and down, and then just fell down and took a sack. So the offense of the Dolphins could do nothing against a great Ravens defense. Tua had to result to what he normally does, dinking and dunking. 60% was within 10 yards, so that's not what you want, but that's kind of how this offense functions. And if you play against a really good defense on top of a really good offense like Baltimore has, well, that's it. That's a recipe for failure. So I thought ultimately Ravens right now, they're getting back into gear. They're getting healthier. They're still, if you look at some of the players on IR, it's unfortunate. They lost a couple really, really good interior pass rushers, but with the way they're playing now, regular season, I'm not worried. Get to the postseason.
That's a whole different way.
I know. I'm just saying. Get back to the postseason, then I'm going to start worrying again.
One step at a time.
Well, right now,
the Steelers should be very worried.
Oh, absolutely.
Should be very worried. They did make some trades, right? They strengthened their defense with Kyle Duggar. That I think
he never played for New England this year. So
that doesn't mean he isn't good. I think Kyle Duggar's a good player.
I do as well.
They got him for like a 7th-round pick. That's a steal.
Well, again, depends on performance, but I would say ultimately with his level of production,
you watch. I bet he'll play better. Sure. He'll make their defense better.
You would hope so if you're the Steelers. Otherwise, why trade for him? You also got Jabril Peppers, who's been banged up, but you have him. Joey Porter hasn't been much. I mean, Jalen Ramsey got cooked in a couple games. Or was it against? I think it was a couple games ago where he just got absolutely shredded against Joe Flacco.
I think he's okay.
I mean, he's been all right. He needs
some help back there.
So they have guys. They're just not playing up to what we know the Steelers defense to be.
I think it's Watt. What the hell happened to him?
He's been a no-show for a couple of weeks recently. I mean, when you get up there in age, you need someone to help. And when the pass rush isn't as good as it is, you can't have, TJ Watt. Again, TJ Watt got cooked by Amarius Mims in solo coverage, in solo blocking reps. That's not a good sign if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, because your pass rush needs to rely on your top-tier playmaker, and that is TJ Watt on the outside. But speaking about a complete mess, the Miami Dolphins continue to reel, and it gets even uglier because they did end up firing their general manager, Chris Grier, longtime general manager Chris Grier. And Adam Schefter reported that Mike McDaniel will retain his job as the Dolphins head coach, at least for the remainder of the season. Owner of the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, had a quote saying, quote, "As I assessed the state of the team and in my discussions with Chris, it became clear to both of us that change could not wait. We must improve in 2025, 2026, and beyond, and it needs to start right now." Senior personnel executive Champ Kelly will take over as the interim general manager, and it could be, the trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Could they make some big-time moves? We'll wait and see, but it seems like Mike McDaniel will retain his job at least through the end of the season. So my question to you is, after the firing of Grier, how bright is the Dolphins' future?
Well, it couldn't be any worse. I would say, it's pretty dark right now. It's about as dark as it could get. One analyst described the game last night as a funeral for the Dolphins, right? Oh, yeah. They're now 2-7. I think they're done, personally. The fans were booing them last night at the halftime.
They were booing them the whole game.
And we're leaving early in the fourth quarter. I mean, the stadium was basically empty by the end of the game. The GM was fired the day before Tuesday's trade deadline. He's been with Miami. I didn't realize he's been with them since 2016. His record is 77-80, and he had 3 playoff appearances. So I don't know why he's been there that long. He's the third longest serving GM in the league, and with that record, I think maybe he should have been fired quite a long time ago. And Ross's comment, "We must improve starting right now." I don't know how they're going to improve right now for the rest of the year. The only player they only have 2 players, I think, that are even, you could even say are really half decent players, are Chain and Waddle. I wouldn't count Tua in there. He's out there throwing. He's terrible.
No.
He's terrible. All he can't run. The only thing he can run is his mouth. So, Champ Kelly, you mentioned, is interim, and we'll sort out the college scouting situation. That's they didn't want Grier to handle a draft this time around, so he's going to sort out the college scouting as a first step. Apparently, Ross wants a new thought process for the draft. They have a defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, and an offensive coordinator, Frank Smith, who've had interviewed for head coaching positions in the past, but they didn't want to pick them because they want the new GM to be able to hire a new head coach, and I think that's a wise move. And they didn't fire McDaniel, and I think McDaniel is a dead man walking unless he wins out, right? Which is impossible given their schedule. But if he wins out, if he got to 10-7. He might even be a wild card team. If he did that, then he might salvage his job. So that's when they say we got to be better right now. He's a dead man walking, and if he doesn't win out, or at least have a winning record by the end of the year, he's done. He's toast. So at least he has an incentive. He knows where he stands. operationally, the Dolphins' operation scores high on NFLPA report card. They do very well on paper. But out on the field, they couldn't do worse. With the firing of Grier, they now have a long runway to consider GM candidates. And I think that's probably the right next step. Miami's the only NFL team without a playoff win since the turn of the century, 2000. Grier's firing is the beginning of an overhaul. That's how I look at it. The first step took place on Halloween.
Well,
do you agree?
Sorry.
I have a question for
Sure.
you. Do you agree that McDaniels, Flores, and Gase were playoff caliber coaches without a playoff caliber roster or a playoff caliber organizational alignment?
Well, I would say that Flores, Mike McDaniel's made it to 2 playoff appearances, doesn't have a win. I think Flores got fired way too soon.
So do I.
He didn't want Tua Tagovailoa.
He didn't want to
He
tank.
wanted Justin Herbert.
He didn't want to tank either.
That's true. And so he put in Fitzpatrick and then Tua and then Fitzpatrick. It was a whole complete mess. You had Josh Rosen to deal with as well with Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Dolphins were a complete and utter just disgrace when he picked it up. So I think that Brian Flores didn't get a quite fair shot. Then he had to draft Tua instead of drafting Justin Herbert. That was a complete mistake. There's been a lot of, missteps, I would say, for the Miami Dolphins organization. The first one would be really keeping Tua and then extending him. Because you gave him a big-time contract. He has a $53 million salary cap number. So he's being paid like a top-tier quarterback, but he's playing like a bottom-10 quarterback right now. And last night, there were 2 throws that just summed up the way the Dolphins have played this season and how bad last night's game was. I'm going to play the first one here. This was a 4th and 2 play. And tell me, again, Mike McDaniel, offensive guru. We hear that now. Liam Cohen, offensive guru. Trevor Lawrence can't do anything. If they don't turn the ball, if they don't take the ball away, their offense does nothing. But Mike McDaniel, offensive guru. This was a beautifully 4th and 2. This was a beautifully drawn up 4th and 2 play. Going to 5'9" Devon Achane over 6'3" Kyle Hamilton. Tell me how the hell this makes any sense that you call up this play. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. Now, this one is an embarrassing one. After this one plays one more time, because this is just terrible. This one, the end of the half one. He's dancing, doing nothing, doesn't even look like he wants to throw the ball, and then takes a sack. And he said that he was too busy looking at the offensive line for the pocket to break down. The pocket's clean. He has no pressure. That is a very clean offensive line. Here's my thing. If we look at the All-22, which I have here, are we sure Tua could have made that throw? Because I don't. He tells Tyreek to slow down on deep throws. I really, first of all, nobody was expecting that ball to come. That's the first thing. And I don't think Tua has the arm to get it there. And I think really that's really a big portion of this, because he's just dancing. It's a clean pocket. And he's blaming the offensive line, saying, well, I was too busy looking in the pocket. I wasn't even looking downfield or trying to make the throw. I was too busy looking in front of me. That's a clean pocket in any team in the NFL. If you're there dancing 2, 3, 4 seconds, I don't know what you want the offensive line to do. And by the way, this is a terrible offensive line. And they held up beautifully for you against a 5-man pass rush. But here's why Chris Grier, it was rough, because I think going into this year, you knew you were going to lose Armstead, an all-pro offensive tackle for you. You knew you were going to lose him. So who do you go into the draft with? In the second round, you draft Jonah Savainaya. I hope I pronounced that name right. In the second round, he is the lowest graded offensive guard in the NFL right now. He has a 9.5 pass blocking grade, by far the worst. He is 71st out of 79 offensive guards in run blocking. He is the worst offensive lineman in the NFL right now. That was your second round offensive line pick. That's a Chris Grier pick right there. Yeah, that's really, really bad. You never made really any big time offensive moves that really mattered. If your whole system is built around getting the ball out quick, and I think that's in large part due to Tua's concussion situation, so you have to get the ball out fast. If that's not there, your offense isn't moving. We saw that against the Cleveland Browns. We saw it in this game. He couldn't really get the ball out at his timely speed of under 2.5 seconds. So if you can't get the ball out, the offense is going to go nowhere. And that's exactly what happened. So Mike McDaniel being this offensive guru, respectfully, I want to see it. Maybe it's the quarterback. Maybe it's the fact that you have a quarterback who doesn't have an elite arm strength. Maybe it's the fact that your quarterback has to get the ball out instantaneously. 60% of the throws were with 9 yards or fewer, so you're not throwing the ball deep. You're not having any big explosive plays. We could talk about a bad tripping call. Yeah, we can complain about that all the time we want. But in reality, this defense that doesn't do good against anybody, until recently, they shut you down completely. You had a bad penalty, which with 4th and 1 call, you get a penalty called on you. Then you end up missing the field goal. Mike McDaniel's pissed off. I'd be pissed off too, because I know for a fact my job's done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have no job by the end of this year
unless he wins out.
But
that's
here's
impossible.
What's
the schedule? What's the Dolphins?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I think that the only good move,
I know they're playing the Steelers once.
Right, but I think the only good move that you wouldn't why you wouldn't fire Mike McDaniel is he's lost you 7 games. Keep that going. You'll have a better draft pick. So then maybe you can get a higher tier player. If you bring in an interim coach, all of a sudden he can go on a winning streak and absolutely kill your chances.
They don't have any players. Maybe Tua is a good quarterback.
I disagree.
You just mentioned one offensive lineman who was one of the worst in the NFL.
Correct.
Right? So he has no protection back there. He has to dink and dunk because he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
Well, again,
you showed me one example of that, but that's not the norm.
Well, I would say that Devon Achane is a very good player.
That's what I'm saying. They have
Jalen
him.
Waddle.
They have him, and they have Waddle. And they had
Tyreek
Hill, but he's out
up
for the year.
Yeah.
Besides that, that's it.
Right.
They don't, and maybe Tua, if he had some protection, he might be able to throw the ball.
Here's the thing. If we're saying that everything has to be perfect for Tua Tagovailoa, then he's not a good quarterback. Because 95% of the elite quarterbacks have something cataclysmically wrong. The Bills have no defense. The Ravens sometimes don't have an offensive line. Also, again, early in Lamar's career, not a lot of really top-tier weapons around him. Now he has Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Derrick Henry. It's a little bit different. Patrick Mahomes has had no offensive line and C-plus tier receivers around him. All these Joe Burrow's had no offensive line for the entirety of his career, and he's been dealing with injuries.
Do you think the trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday? Do you think they should trade a chain?
No, you don't. You can't trade him.
Or Waddle. How about Waddle?
Waddle's been talked about in trade. You might have to trade a defensive guy. So we're talking Chubb.
Who do they have on defense?
You got a couple guys. You got Chubb. Matt Judon's been talked about in some trades.
Matt Judon is a shadow of himself.
You were high on him. You were high and mighty on him.
I was when he was with the Patriots. He was good, but I haven't heard anything about him. He was not good with the Falcons. He was picked up by the Dolphins. You haven't heard anything about him.
Hasn't done much. But to talk about the schedule, they have 3 home games coming up. Week 10 against the Buffalo Bills.
They lose that.
Okay. Against the Commanders.
Maybe they win that. The Commanders are not for real now.
We'll put the win in there. Then a bye week. Then home against the Saints.
Okay. Maybe they win that.
Okay. At Jets.
They have a chance there.
At Steelers.
Lose.
At home against the Bengals.
Maybe they win that.
Ooh. A home against Tampa Bay.
No, they lose that.
And at Patriots.
No, they lose that.
Okay, so you're telling me they go 6-11.
6-11. That wouldn't save his job.
That also would make them, I would say, based on the way this season's gone, close to being out of the top 10 in picks. I mean, we have some really, really bad teams.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Minnesota's really bad.
Well,
the Saints can't win games.
Ross has told head coaches to tank. So maybe he's telling McDaniel. Maybe he'll tell McDaniel.
Here's the thing. I don't think he needs to tell McDaniel to tank. They're really just that bad.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, he says the message is getting to the team, but we're not executing. Because I think that he doesn't have the locker room. I mean, that looked like a team that gave up. And in the fourth quarter, having 250-pound Derrick Henry still barreling through, nobody wants to tackle him with 6 minutes remaining in a blowout game. So I would say ultimately, no, this Dolphins team looks like it's given up. The Jets are 1-7. They just had a big-time win against the Bengals, this prior week. Miami's 2-7. We have Cleveland that can't win games. Tennessee who's 1-7. Houston that's turning things around. Jacksonville that's falling off. Raiders are 2-5. Cardinals are 2-5. Saints are 1-7. There's a lot of bad teams right now. And if we really think about it, J.J. McCarthy, the way he's looked,
I think the Vikings, they're going
to probably bottom out. The Giants are 2-6. They're somewhat promising, but again, how many more games can they win?
Got hurt.
Scadaboo's probably out for the year, and plus they have a very difficult schedule. So, again, think about this. So, let's say Miami goes, you know what? Let's just see how many teams you think will be ahead of them in the draft. So, worst teams. Jets. Will they have a higher draft pick
They've
than the
only
Dolphins?
won one game.
One game. They're 1-7.
What's this? Well, we'd have to look at their schedule.
Here's the thing. I don't think it matters. That's the interesting thing. They play the Patriots, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Jaguars, the Saints, the Bills again. They play the Browns, not this week, but next week.
Well, maybe they'll win 3 games.
So, okay, they're 4, so they would have a higher draft pick. I think Cleveland will have a higher draft pick. Tennessee will definitely have a higher draft pick. The Saints now starting Tyler Shuck will have a higher draft pick.
I feel sorry for him going up against the 49ers. No, he's going up against the Rams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Tyler Shuck gets the Rams.
That's a poor game to pick for him.
Well, think about what J.J. McCarthy has to do this week against the Lions in Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
The Raiders, Geno Smith can't complete a pass. Tennessee is going to be terrible. Cleveland, yep. Cincinnati, they seem to be bottoming out a little bit.
Well, maybe when's Burrow coming back? He must be getting
week
soon.
14?
Is it that far away?
Well, yeah, it was 6 months, and it was what week 2 he got hurt. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of really bad teams. So the Dolphins, if they win 6-7 games, you're out of the top 10.
Yeah. So maybe
and you need to have a top 10 pick because you're a terrible team. You have to rebuild the offensive line. The defense isn't great. Your secondary is not great. The running game's the only thing that's respectable. You don't have a quarterback.
Well, they could guarantee that they lose the rest of their games if they trade away their best players at the deadline. Right? And just start over.
Again,
start over. They're gonna it's a total rebuild. It's a total reset.
I think at the end of the season you'll definitely see. I think Mike McDaniel does get fired. I think Tua, they might give him one more year. I think they may draft a quarterback in the second or third round.
They have no choice with him. They're paying him.
Right.
Nobody's going to give him that kind of money.
And here's the thing. I don't think this is an attractive spot for other head coaches to say, okay, we have to deal with a guy who has to get the ball out fast. Otherwise, the offense breaks down a little bit over 2.5 seconds. He can't really extend plays with his legs. Again, you're afraid of the concussion thing. He doesn't have he doesn't have tremendous accuracy besides very, very short passes. 60% of his passes were dinks and dunks. I mean, that's not a winning formula whatsoever. And if that's your starting quarterback making $53 million, that's impossible to do anything. And I might add, he's 10-10, weeks 13 and on. That's what I say. You have him for 70% of the season. Once it becomes sweater weather, he freezes up completely.
Yeah. So
it's an unfortunate situation. 26 years. Chris Grier's been the GM since 2016, but he's been with the Dolphins for the last 26 years. So it's interesting.
He's there too long.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Also because they haven't done it. They were 0-3 in the red zone, 3 turnovers. They opened with one, a very easy touchdown for the Ravens, a fumble basically in the red zone. So, easy, score for the Baltimore Ravens. But this Dolphins team, I said after week 1, after their loss against the Colts, I'm like, yeah, this team can't do anything right. The offense is terrible. Tua can't complete a pass. He had another interception in this one. Think about it now. He's passed Geno Smith for turnovers. The guy who couldn't stop throwing picks has now been overtaken by Tua Tagovailoa. Inarguably a better offense than what the Raiders have right now because Gentry is not living up to expectations. Brock Bowers has been banged up. Jacoby Myers doesn't want to be there. At least you have Jalen Waddle. You did have Tyreek Hill. You have Devon Achane, who's very productive. It's an unfortunate situation.
Well, they're an undisciplined team. They get penalized a lot, and they make a lot of mistakes. I mean, they made a lot of mistakes last night.
Oh yeah. And right? Mike McDaniel came out at halftime saying we're playing against.
They had the lead, and they had the ball, and they were moving the ball a little bit, and then the wide receiver fumbled it.
Yeah.
Right down by the
easy score for the
the safety or cornerback. I'm not sure who picked it up, but he almost ran it in, and that was an easy touchdown.
You draft the guy in the second round, and he's a bust like that. It's a bad draft pick. That's a big-time miss, so it's unfortunate. But the situation, I feel, is only going to get worse. And just like the Jets, the Dolphins seem to keep making new bottom of the barrels, new rock bottoms.
Well, then they have some big decisions to make here before Tuesday.
You're going to have your interim GM come in, and is he going to absolutely just blow up the roster? Say goodbye, Jalen. Goodbye, I don't think they're trading Devon Achane. Do we see a monumental trade for Tua Tagovailoa? Again, I don't know what team wants him. Exactly. I don't know what team wants him, but I'm just saying, could we have some sort of that shakeup? Maybe you lose a couple defensive guys. Who knows? But this team right now, I don't think there's really much of a,
We'll see.
a
on
bright
Tuesday.
future ahead whatsoever.
We'll see what happens.
And indeed we will. And hey, we may be talking about some breaking news on the show Tuesday, 6:30. We're going to be coming right at the end of
That's right.
the trade deadline, so that should be interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but coming up, we make our Week 9 picks and predictions. Midway point of the season is right now, as well as we had another winning week on the Harvey Hot Hand. Can we continue that? I love the point spreads this week. A lot of favorable matchups, so I'll talk about that throughout this very, very short break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a very scary episode of the Harvey Hour. Excuse me. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is our picks. Every single week throughout the NFL season, we make our picks and predictions for teams that will win and cover the point spread. You're beating me in win-loss pretty badly. And now you've come back all the way to now only one game behind me in the point spread. So I need to get my act together, or I just have to figure out a way to beat you. We tie. No, I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying historically, I've wiped the floor with you.
Not on win-loss. Not on win-loss.
Win-loss. I've had I have to bring out whatever the sheet I had.
I want to see that. I don't think you wiped the floor.
Well, it depends on what you think like is wiping the floor. But yeah, you might be taking the crown after, we've done this, for 3-4 years?
65% win percentage straight up.
You beat me pretty nicely.
I'm almost back to 500.
How many wins do you have?
79.
Okay, so then mine's off a little bit. I might have yours. I think my wins are off, so don't worry about that, because apparently I have 93. That might be wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that might be wrong. But yeah, let's get into our win-loss here. So let's start with this. Week 9 picks. Let's go. So last night, obviously, the Ravens was an easy pick. You have to pick them against the Miami Dolphins. Lamar's had, 2 dominant games against them and make that a third one. So let's get into this one. The Broncos at the Texans. This was a shock for me. This is basically a pick'em game. The two really good defenses going at one another. The Texans' offense seems to be picking up a little bit, while the Denver Broncos, I believe, are on a 5-game winning streak. So they're on a major hot streak here, especially with that massive comeback in the fourth quarter, down 19-0, coming all the way back against the Giants. It was insane to watch. And a big-time win last week against the Dallas Cowboys. 3.5-point favorites at home, and they absolutely crushed them. I'm going to take the Broncos in an upset here. I just feel like the defense, if you can get to C.J. Stroud, he's a different quarterback. If he has time in the pocket, and especially, that offensive line's not great, but if he has time to throw, we saw it against the 49ers, who have the worst QB pressure rate in the NFL. I mean, he looked like, all-pro C.J. Stroud out there. He was ripping it left and right, couldn't be stopped. So I think if the Broncos pass rush can get to C.J. Stroud, and this defense is very high in QB pressure rate, I think it'll make C.J. Stroud uncomfortable. I know Nico Collins is back. I know Kirk's back, but I don't think it'll matter. Give me a red-hot Denver Broncos team, or I guess I should say orange-hot Denver Broncos team, and I'm going to take them in an upset over the Houston Texans at Houston. Next one, Mac Jones is returning for another game. However, Brock Purdy may be available to play in this one, but I will be taking the San Francisco 49ers as the favorite against the New York Giants. I just think the loss of Cam Skattebo, that's big, because this offense relies on heavy running game and an effective running game with Jackson Dart, with Cam Skattebo. I think the loss of him really hinders this team, because Tyrone Tracy is not the same running back as Cam Skattebo whatsoever, and Devin Singletary, there's a reason why he's running back 3. Meanwhile, what's really good is that the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey did nothing against the Texans last week. The Giants have a really bad defense, a shockingly bad defense. They have the 30th ranked running defense, so I think CMC is going to have a great game. Ricky Pearsall is again going to miss this game, but I don't think it'll matter too much, because this will be a game where you see Christian McCaffrey probably have 30 touches in this one. So give me Mac Jones in an effective running game over the New York Giants. Let's go to the next one. This one shocked me. The Indianapolis Colts are only 3-point favorites against the reeling Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me that all day, every day. The number one offense going against a Mike Tomlin crippled defense. I don't understand how it's only 3 points, but I will gladly take this. Jonathan Taylor is probably a lock for Offensive Player of the Year. Daniel Jones should be a higher MVP candidate. The offensive line is the only top 5 offensive line in both run and pass blocking. The defense picked it up a little bit in recent weeks and is really, really good against the run. Now, again, the passing defense, I said this on Tuesday's show, it scares me a little bit. But ultimately, if you just keep running the football and Daniel Jones remains as effective as he is against the worst passing defense in the NFL, I'll take that all day, every day. Give me the Colts in a -3, and to cover the -3 point spread, they get a win over Pittsburgh. And I understand Mike Tomlin, home underdog. To me, they just did that against the Green Bay Packers, and look how that turned out. They lost by 10. Should have been a little bit more, but they got a little cheap score at the end of the game. All right, next one. This one scares me a little bit. DeAndre Swift and Luther Burden are both going to be out for this game, but Joe Flacco, he seems to be all right, okay to go, but I don't know how close to 100% he will be. I just think ultimately that the Bengals defense is so bad. I think that Caleb Williams, with time, and we saw what he did against a really bad defense of the Dallas Cowboys. He looked like an all-pro. Nearly 300 yards. I mean, what he did was absolutely tremendous. I think he had 4 touchdowns as well. Going against a terrible Bengals defense, I think is going to cook nicely. And I think the Bears defense last week against, Snoop Huntley, they got torched. Shockingly, they got absolutely shredded. So what is a Chase Brown and a Joe Flacco-led offense? What are they going to do against this Bears defense? I think they'll get some opportunistic turnovers. Caleb Williams will be comfortable in the pocket. I say they get a nice victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think this could go down to a field goal game, but I think that the Bears will be ready for it. Give me them in a big-time road victory in Cincinnati. The next one, Panthers at the Green Bay Packers. I'm done picking the Packers on big spreads. I got burnt by it before in the season. I'm done with it. I don't care that the Panthers couldn't stop, a nosebleed last week against the Buffalo Bills. I just think right now, Bryce Young is back. It's not Andy Dalton turning the ball over and not looking great whatsoever. I think the Packers, they looked all right against the and they were getting cooked pretty nicely by Pittsburgh until about the fourth quarter and really the second half where they just kind of let Jordan Love do his thing and he cooked. I think in this one, I'm just not trusting the points, but I think the Packers will get a win, but this could be a 10, 11-point victory. I'm just saying that Rico Dowdle, by the way, they did what I wanted them to do. He's going to get a majority of the rushing snaps in this one. Give me the Panthers to cover a 13.5 point spread. I don't trust this point spread when it comes to the Packers. I'm done picking them in big-time wins. They really just don't cover those point spreads. I'll take the Packers to win, but the Panthers do cover that point spread. Could be a 12-point victory. Could be a 13-point victory. I don't really care. Panthers will cover that 13.5, though. Next one, Falcons at Patriots. The Falcons, it's so weird. 1 week when I say they have the 4th best defense, they get cooked. When I say they have the number 1 defense, they get cooked. I picked them to beat the Miami Dolphins with Bijan Robinson against the Dolphins defense that can't stop the run. They lose, 34-10? With Bijan running, 6 times for 25 yards? Are you kidding me? I think going up against a New England Patriots defense, which is very top tier, I believe they're 2nd or 3rd against the run, will hinder Bijan Robinson. Michael Penix out there, he's had some very bad games, very questionable games, and if you don't have your number 1 guy being your big-time playmaker, what are they going to do if Bijan's really not that effective? And with Drake May breaking the Patriots record for having above 135 passer rating and above, a 75% completion percentage, whatever the record is, he broke Tom Brady's 07 record. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I got to pick the Patriots here. They're on a hot streak. Time to beat up on an Atlanta Falcons team. And also, Super Bowl rematch, you got to pick the Patriots. Let's go to the next one. Chargers at Titans. I got to pick the Chargers here. I know it's a big point spread. I will take them to cover. The Titans don't do anything right. They can't move the ball in the passing game. They can't move the ball in the running game. They don't have a defense that can stop the pass. They don't have a defense that can stop the run very effectively. Cam Ward, while he's improving very, very slowly, they have a turnover in every single game this season. We see sometimes where Cam Ward pulls it back, ball goes the opposite way. You can't have that if you're the number 1 overall pick. Hell, you can't have that if you're a starting quarterback in the NFL. This defense of the Chargers, it's improving. It's getting healthier. I need to see it continually improve. And Gadsden, the tight end, he's on a hot streak as well. This offense for the Chargers is also getting healthier. Give me the Chargers, big-time win over the Tennessee Titans. Let's go to the next one. The Vikings at the Lions. J.J. McCarthy, I said this on Tuesday. What a bad spot for him to be in. Coming off of an injury, maybe soft bench with Carson Wentz playing with one arm for the last half month. And now he has to go in against a Lions team off a bye in Detroit where they average over 30 points a game basically at home since Dan Campbell got there. This is a rough spot for them to be in, especially because the Lions are also getting healthier. And the Vikings, they're basically their entire offensive line is banged up and Darisaw hasn't been practicing. So give me the Lions in a massive victory here. This was 9.5. I have no idea why the hell it dropped down to 8.5. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm going to eat that up all day, every day. Give me the Lions big-time victory. I think they're just going to shut down anything the Vikings try to do. Give me the Lions in a big-time victory at home, and also give me the 8.5 points. Next one, Jaguars at the Raiders. Travis Hunter went on IR today. Yikes. I just think that this is this game. I think this is a fork in the road game. If you lose to Geno Smith and the Las Vegas Raiders, and you don't have a takeaway, oh no, this team is completely dependent on their defense. Trevor Lawrence can't do anything in that case. Because what have we seen? Their defense doesn't take the ball away. Their offense does nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is a team, the Las Vegas Raiders, who their quarterback can't stop turning the ball over. So if your defense can't generate a takeaway and you can't win this game, there's going to be some questions about Liam Cohen's offensive guru status and Trevor Lawrence's $55 million a year contract, which you and I from the get-go didn't even believe he deserved. Next man up, I think that mantra is terrible. It shouldn't exist. Dak Prescott's making $65 million. He's kind of living up to it. He should be better than he is, but whatever the case may be. This is a fork in the road game. You lose, you're a terrible team. You win, you're somewhat respectable. Still massive question mark over your head, though. So I'm taking the team that needs to win more than the helpless Raiders, giving the Jaguars 2.5 cover on the road in Las Vegas. Next one, the Saints at the Rams. Tyler Shuck is starting quarterback, and the Rams have been surprisingly up and down. You crushed the Jaguars overseas, and now you're coming back to play the Saints, who can't do anything offensively. Now, unfortunately, I have Chris Olave and I have Alvin Kamara on my fantasy team. I don't love that because I also just lost Travis Hunter and DeAndre Swift's out. My fantasy team is going to absolutely suck this week, but I will be taking the Los Angeles Rams to blow out the Saints here. Puka Nacua is back. Even when Nacua was gone, Devontae Adams had a number of touchdowns overseas. Kyron Williams is a great player. Offensive line's good. The defense should be much better. They were great last week, or the week prior, actually, against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So give me the Rams in a big-time blowout game against Tyler Shuck in his first game starting with the Saints. He played last week, but wasn't too great against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, this one, Chiefs at Bills. I understand. Bills don't have a defense. Josh Allen is turning the ball over more. The offensive line isn't living up to the number. But it's the regular season. It's Josh Allen. It's Patrick Mahomes. I understand. Chiefs hot streak. I could be completely wrong, and I will take it on the nose. I'll take it on the chin if the Bills lose this game. But history repeats itself in the NFL way too often. Give me the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen finally figuring it out. The defense is going to be terrible, but this could be a high-scoring game. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen becomes Superman for just this one game. You can't rely on it for a full season. Give me Josh Allen, upset victory in Buffalo against the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, I hate that pick. I absolutely hate that pick, but I'm just going off what history says. Josh Allen in the regular season beats Mahomes pretty nicely. All right, let's go. Sunday Night Football. Seattle Seahawks at Washington Commanders. I want a caveat on this real quick. I want a conditional. If this moves to 3.5, I'm picking Commanders plus 3.5. Seahawks still get the win, though, because I do think this will be a 3-point game. I don't want the push. I want the win here. So that's my conditional. I'll take the Seahawks to win, but if this point spread moves to 3.5, I want Commanders plus 3.5. But I think the Seahawks right now, people at issue with my Sam Darnold's not a top 10 quarterback. Who says? Him and JSN? I mean, they're the best deep ball duo in the NFL right now. They're a very explosive offense. I want them to use K9 a little bit better instead of having Zach Charbonnet take it from 2 yards in. I have K9 on my fantasy team. I like him to score some touchdowns as well. But ultimately, I just think the Seahawks team, the defense is really good. Sam Darnold's a little bit reckless. I get it. So what? I don't care. I want a little bit of recklessness. It has to be controlled recklessness. That's what Baker Mayfield has. He has recklessness in him, but I like it to be controlled. I think him and JSN, ultimate connection right there. Cooper Kupp got a little bit of action over the past couple weeks, but I do think that this Seahawks team against a banged-up Commanders team who isn't that great, who just got crushed by the Kansas City Chiefs, I'll take the Seahawks in a big-time victory on Sunday Night Football. And finally, Monday night. Now, this point spread moved before the show, but because it's the show, we get our points in a little bit easier. This moved to Cowboys minus 3.5. So we got in at the 2.5 number, which, by the way, is a substitute Harvey Hot Hand pick, I might add. That is my 6th or 7th Harvey Hot Hand pick is Cowboys -2.5. But we don't know what Kyler Murray's status is. He's limited. Will he play on Monday? Who the hell knows? I don't. Here's the thing. I think Jacoby Brissett actually gives them a better opportunity to beat the Cowboys than Kyler Murray does. This defense for the Cowboys is terrible. Dak Prescott, he had a really, really bad game against Denver. While the Cardinals have an all right defense, I just think right now Dak Prescott, when he's comfortable, when he can play at his normal level, is an MVP level candidate. I'll take the Cowboys -2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Hopefully, I got to figure out what the hell I did with the win-loss there because I don't think that's even right. 73. So yeah, that's just a mistype for me.
121.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're, exactly. So what's it? So mine's 73.
You're 6 games behind me.
Wow, that's I got to improve on that. But here's the thing, though. We match on so many games. It's hard for me to make up any ground. So that's why, we match. I mean, we'll see the picks. We really match on everything, essentially.
No, we don't.
Well,
on this game.
There's one game.
Buffalo.
I know. There's one game that we did switch on, but that's really the only one I can gain ground on you, which is interesting. So, have this. Let's get into your picks here. Your Week 9 picks on Halloween. Take it away.
Okay. I like your
design?
Your design there
Thank
with
you.
the ghosts on there. I think the first game kind of says it all. Boo, 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 right? They were booing the Dolphins, and that's Halloween. So that was a little foreshadowing of Halloween. Boo, 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 boo. So I got that one. I got that right. I see you've got the cobweb on there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, moving on to the Broncos and the Texans. I don't know how the Texans could be favored in this
Their
game.
defense, I think.
I don't understand it because the Texans have 3 wins, right?
Yep.
They came against the Titans, one of the worst teams in the league. They beat the
worst.
Ravens with no Lamar and a lot of injuries on defense.
True.
And they beat the 49ers, who have a lot of injuries to key players, particularly on defense. So I don't think they're it's still questionable to me whether they're for real. I think their best chance is if their offense can play like it did last week, but I don't think it will. The Broncos have maybe the best defense in the league. Their only hope is Surtain can't play with the pectoral strain. And even if he can't play, they still the pass rush is going to get to Stroud. Both defenses, I think, are excellent here, but the difference to me is the quarterback, where I trust Nix more than Stroud. So I'm taking the Broncos, and you did too. We agreed on 49ers at Giants. I've got the 49ers in this one. The Giants have won their last 2 at-home games. The last 2 weeks, their run defense has given up 436 yards total. The run defense ranks 30th. Scatterbo is out for the season. The 49ers still have injuries, and Purdy is out, but you're saying that maybe he could play, but I don't think he'll need to.
Well, he'll be available.
I think
Mac Jones is starting.
Oh, Mac Jones, I think, will be fine. I think he'll be enough for them. The difference here, again, I think quarterback, where I like Jones better than Jarrett. So I'm 49.5. I'm surprised it's 2.5, actually. The Colts versus the Steelers. I got the Colts -3. Colts have the best record in the league, 7-1, which is not a fluke. 2 months into the season, they're first in scoring. They're 6th in scoring defense. They have 116-plus point differential. That's the best in the league. I don't think anybody else even has over 100. Their pressure rate is 39.9% on defense. That's second. They have 10 interceptions. That's second. So they're good on offense and defense. So their defense has improved a lot. They managed to get 11 players out there on every play. The only team to score 20-plus points in every game. They're first in total offense. They probably have the best O-line in front of Jonathan Taylor in the league, who's an MVP candidate. They're complemented by Daniel Jones spreading the ball around to a good wide receiver core, which should do well against the Steelers' defense. It's 22nd in points allowed and 30th in total D. The last 2 opponents against the Steelers, they get 450 yards of offense, had 450 yards of offense. So I like the Colts in this one, and I think -3 will be easy to cover. The Bears and the Bengals, I got the Bears as well. I like the Bears and the spread, point spread. They got their running game going since the number 6 week bye, 154.3 yards a game. But you're telling me that Sweat is not playing. So that could be a problem, but it's really, they'll open holes for the next step running back. So the Bengals are giving up 184.7 yards per game, so it doesn't really matter who's running the ball for the Bears. They should be able to do well. The Bears secondary is also banged up, but Joe Flacco has a shoulder injury, and Browning may be the starter. If that's the case, then forget it. The Bears will easily win. Bengals defense gave up 23 points in the fourth quarter against the Jets last week. Come on. Trey Hendrickson has a hip injury.
He's doubtful for this game.
He's doubtful. So I think it's prohibitive that the Bears will win. Plus, they have Ben Johnson, who's showing to be quite a good head coach and offensive schemer. Panthers at the Packers. I hear you. The Packers play down to their competition, but I'm going to say in this game, having watched the Panthers are 0-3 against teams with winning records and outscored by 188 to 32.
On the road?
Yeah, I think. No, I'm sorry. It's 108. 108 to 32.
Still, though, that's like three times.
It's 3 times. So,
jeez.
Did you know that stat? You
I did not.
Okay,
I did not.
That might have changed your mind. The Bills beat them by 31 points.
That was bad.
Green Bay's 3-0 at home. The Panthers' best hope is the running game with Rico Dowdle, 5.7 yards per rush, and to keep Love off the field. That's about the only hope they have. And they are starting Dowdle, and he'll get the majority of the carries, which I think is good. However, the Packers have a third-ranked rushing defense, so they may be able to stop Dowdle. The other hope is that the Packers play down to their opponents, which you talked about, averaging a point differential of only 3.8 points against teams with losing records. If the Packers play to their potential, they will cover the point spread. I'm picking them to do that. The Falcons at the Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan. I got the hat on. I've got the sweatshirt on. This is a special sweatshirt, right, with the Patriots
logo on the left side.
On the left side. That's pretty cool. Got it for Christmas a couple of years ago. Pat's offense looked good, led by May, who leads the league in completion percentage at 75.2 and passer rating 118.7. He's really having a great year. And now that he's cut down on the turnovers, he really is. You rank him in number 2 quarterback. I think I agree.
Yeah.
Booty has a TD and a catch of 25-plus yards in each of the last 3 games.
Oh, wow.
He's a great player for them as well. And one that was in Belichick's doghouse when he was a rookie. But I said he was we picked the rookies.
Yeah.
I had him going.
You were very high on Keyshawn.
I had him going in the first round. He wound up going in the 6th round because of some off-field thing.
Yeah.
The defense has not given up more than 20 points since week 3. The running backs haven't gained more than 50 yards per game against the Patriots, making it tough for Bijan Robinson this game. Both Penix and London are questionable in this game. Falcons have one of the best pass defenses and good overall talent, but have been inconsistent, as you said. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. The best quarterback against the pass D is won generally by the quarterback. So I see Drake May being able to handle their pass defense, and they win and cover. The Chargers at the Titans, and I think this is a prohibitive favorite. The Chargers, 9.5. I'll take them in the points. The only thing that the Titans have going for them are the injuries in the Chargers secondary, but I don't think they can exploit it with their passing game. I doubt they can keep up with Herbert, who is some of his previously injured O-line back, and that's going to help him a lot. The Chargers are prohibitive favorites, as I mentioned. Vikings at the Lions. I feel so bad for McCarthy. He's starting, going up against the Lions, who are outrageous at home, have one of the best defenses, have loaded with good players. Their offense is great, too. He's had 1 good quarter and 8 played, McCarthy. The 4th quarter against the Bears, where he was 6 for 8, 87 yards, 2 TDs, 1 rushing TD, 149.5 passer rating. After that, the other 7 quarters, 18 for 33, 214 yards, no TDs, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble lost, a 36.7 passer rating. I don't see him beating the Lions. Lions defense is stellar at home, as I mentioned. The Vikings defense is really disappointed so far. They had a good defense last year. It hasn't really played up to that this year at all. So I'm going to take the Lions on the points. The Jaguars versus the Raiders. I got the Jags on the -3. I don't like the Jaguars much, But against the Raiders, who've been so poor, I think they can find a way to win. Both teams are blown out in the week before their bye. At 2-5, the Raiders must win. Bowers and Myers are healthy to help the beleaguered Geno Smith and the Raiders' 27th ranked passing game. They need to also get the running game going with Gianti. He's been the disappointment so far. Only 30 plays against the on offense against the Chiefs that the Raiders had. So pretty bad. Their offense is pretty bad. The Jags D has come back to earth. They haven't had any takeovers in the last 2 games, and they're plagued by by penalties. The Jaguars have more talent overall, and I think they find a way to win in ugly fashion. It'll be an ugly game. The Saints versus the Rams. I got the Rams and the 14 points. Rattler was benched. Had 6 turnovers in the past 2 weeks. Looks like Tyler Shuck will play the rest of the season. That's what the coach is saying, but I'm questioning whether that's going to happen. It's a tough start for him against the Rams. Defense coming off a bye. Verse and Young are playing great. The Rams D, 7 sacks in the last game. A rookie quarterback has not won a game for the Saints in 44 years. That's a pretty amazing stat, huh?
Yeah.
My guess is Rattler will be back before the season's over, and I think the Rams will win this game. Chiefs at the Bills. So here's where we disagree. The Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season and lose to them in the playoffs. Well, I think it's going to reverse this year. I'm not sure the Bills will beat them in the playoffs, or maybe the Bills, are they even going to make the playoffs?
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Yeah. Chiefs are the only team that has a top 5 in both total offense and total defense. Mahomes, the best quarterback since week 4, I think. Allen, lowest passer rating on deep passes is 29.4. Buffalo lost its only game against a team with a winning record. So they lost to the Pats. I mean, the other wins are all against teams with losing records. So I think this is a measurement game for them.
Oh, big time.
The Bills without Ed Oliver, the best defensive player, and the engine of their defense. It looks like the Chiefs win this one to me, even though they're on the road. Seahawks -3 at the Commanders. I like the Seahawks. You've got a crazy thing there where it could go the other way.
Well, yeah, because I've seen 3.5. I don't like that number.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm 3.5. I still got the Seahawks and those points. Even with Daniels back out there, maybe I'm not sure. I guess he's going to be back out there this week. The Commanders are severely undermanned. McLaurin can't play, and he was also a hold-in, and I think that's affected their offense. He and Daniels have not been the same this year. And Deebo Samuel's looking like a bust to me. The offensive, the O is 21st in points. The defense, 27th in points allowed. Only 3 takeaways. They're an old defense, and the season's getting longer and longer. Those guys are getting tired. They have injuries with 3 starters out. On the defense, they've lost 3 in a row. Seattle's coming off a bye. Dano playing well, only sacked 9 times this year, with the O-line playing much, much better. The secondary players, Amani Niori and Witherspoon, are getting healthy for this game. Nick Jigba leads the NFL with 819 yards, is on pace to set the record at 1,989 versus the prior record by Calvin Johnson, 1964. Quinn, we're going to dig in hard. Quinn, after he went to the Super Bowl with the Atlanta against the Patriots and lost, he was terrible after that. Right? Their teams, they never did anything. They hung on to him for a number of years, and he didn't do well. I wonder if this is a repeat here.
I don't know. After the loss against the Eagles, he can't rebound from that in the NFC Championship game last year? Is that what you're saying?
I don't see the Commanders making the playoffs now. They've lost 3 in a row.
Ooh, wow.
They still have a bunch of players hurt. The defense is regressing and doing worse. Wow. Jalen Daniels is not the same player he was last year.
Wow.
I don't see them making the playoffs. Cardinals versus the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys. The Cowboys 3-4-1. They got to get it going here. Dallas undefeated at home. Murray back. I don't know if he's back or not. Is he going to be
limited.
Back?
We have no idea.
We don't know. I would bet they might let him start. If he does poorly, they'll put Myers, Jacoby Brissett in as the Cardinals starter. One thing for Murray, he's 9-0 going back to high school in the Dallas Stadium. The Cowboys have not won or lost consecutive games. The Cardinals have 5 consecutive losses by a combined total of 13 points.
That's right.
To me, Dak Prescott is the difference in this game.
Okay. Well, there you go. Those are our picks for Week 9. Now it's time for what I always say is my favorite segment on the show that we do here. It's the Harvey Hot Hand. For those who don't know what the Harvey Hot Hand is, it is where I pick 5, maybe sometimes 6, sometimes 7 teams that you should bet on if you are sports betting. We had another winning week. We're progressing. I want another 4-1 week in there. We've had a number of 3-2 weeks. It's time to get a 4-1. Hey, this could be a 5-0 week. I'm just going to put that out there. Fingers crossed. I really think this could be, knock on wood, a 5-0 week for us. So let's begin. The soundboard's off, so I'm going to start with the first one, which is the Falcons at the Patriots. I thought the Browns were supposed to be Drake May's toughest challenge. The defense is so tough. Obliterated the Cleveland Browns. Wasn't even really a challenge. And now, going up against the Falcons, who just had a terrible game against the Miami Dolphins, who don't have a defense. Bijan Robinson, 9 carries, 25 yards, and a fumble loss. The Patriots are second in running defense. What is Michael Penix with a really good Patriots defense, and what is Bijan Robinson against a really good Patriots run defense going to do? And especially because the Patriots are 6-2 against the spread this season, and from Week 5 on, they averaged 30.6 points per game and are undefeated against the spread, 5-0. Give me the Patriots with Drake May, who is, I think it's a really, you can get into top 3, top 2. Who is the best quarterback in the NFL? I understand Drake May has a very easy schedule, but he's doing what he has to do, and that's obliterating teams. So give me the Patriots to cover the -5.5. They win 24-17.
Colts at Steelers.
This one, I always love picking the Colts this season. They've always been a pretty big winner for me. The Pittsburgh defense has been terrible. I think that's really the big story here. They're the worst they're the worst defense against the pass. They're 18th against the run. They're 31st in first downs allowed, and they're 29th in yards per play allowed. Meanwhile, the Colts, they're the best offense in the NFL, and it really isn't even that close. Jonathan Taylor has 100 more rushing yards than the next highest running back. He also leads the league in all-purpose scrimmage yards as well as total touchdowns. So he's been an incredibly dominant player this entire season. Daniel Jones is a top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. And if we want to demote Josh Allen, you can move him up to top 4 quarterback in the NFL. The Colts are the only team in the National Football League to be top 5 in both pass and run blocking. So they've been an absolute unit. I think they deserve a lot of the reason why, a lot of the success. I mean, you can't give a whole MVP award to an offensive line, but they deserve a massive amount of respect for the job they're doing. The Colts' running defense also has been very good, so that'll limit Jaylen Warren as well as Gainwell. So Rodgers, can he get the ball out fast? That's what he does this entire season. The Colts' passing defense is what I'm most scared about, but I do think that the offense is just way too dominant. Rodgers won't be able to keep up. Give me the Colts -3. They cover that point spread on the road. They win 28-20.
Vikings at Lions.
Give me this one here. This one should be easy. I feel bad for J.J. McCarthy. This is a really bad spot for him to be in, especially coming back from an injury. Minnesota has really struggled against stopping the run. The Lions have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And also they do some end-arounds with Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown also as well. So they have a really, really great offense. Morton has done a great job stepping in for Ben Johnson at the offensive coordinator position. Minnesota has 4 straight games of at least 1 turnover. Since the last 2 years, Detroit's 17-1. And since 2022, they're 39-10 in that exact situation when they take the ball away at least once. Jared Goff in the offense, they are really, really good at home. This is in Detroit. They blow teams out by more than 11 points generally on average. So give me the Detroit Lions in a big-time win here. They covered the 8.5. They win 31-14. I feel really bad for J.J. McCarthy, but it's going to make me a quick buck, so I'll gladly take the opportunity to win there. So, also, banged up Minnesota offensive line, that Detroit Lions pass rush, healthy. I think this is a pretty easy pick for me, so give me the Lions -8.5. They win 31-14. The next one.
Chargers at Titans.
Let's redo that.
Chargers at Titans.
Let's go this one here. Chargers at Titans here. The Titans don't do anything right. They don't have an offense. They're 31st in passing, 32nd in rushing. They're 32nd in total offense as well as scoring offense. They're 26th in total defense. They don't do anything right. They don't have a great third down game. They don't have a great red zone game. Calvin Ridley's going to be out for this one. The Chargers are getting healthier, both on offense and defense. The Titans also turn the ball over in every single game. They don't do anything right. The Chargers, they're improving as the weeks go on, and especially with Kansas City resurging again from their, downward spiral early in the season, and plus with Denver being on this massive hot streak, they need to keep winning games in order for them to still even be in contention for potentially winning the AFC West here. So I think this is a big-time spot for them to be in. The Titans are a terrible team. Cam Ward hasn't played great. I understand a bunch of the shakeup, but you could also look at his play and realize, where's the promise? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? And with this performance out on the field, the light's pretty dim right now. So give me the Chargers. They covered the 9.5-point spread. They win 27-10, excuse me. And because the soundboard's broken for this one, the next one is 49ers at the Giants. This is a risky one, but I believe in it because Mac's back once again. He's back starting for the 49ers. Brock's going to be potentially available to play. He just won't be the starter here. I think Scadaboo's injury is the massive X factor here because him and Jackson Dart, Scadaboo just runs through guys. Jackson Dart, same thing. Tyrone Tracy's not the same running back. Devin Singletary's not the same running back. So I think ultimately this will be a CMC big-time performance. If you have CMC on your fantasy team, he may have 30 touches in this one. The Giants are 30th in rushing defense, 24th in passing defense. They're 21st in pressure rate, and that's the big one also. Mac Jones was really, really uncomfortable against the Houston Texans because that interior of the offensive line and also some of the blocking schematics, having your center roll out to block Will Anderson, what the hell are you doing? Having Juwan Jennings having to block Daniil Hunter, what are you doing? I think the pass rush is shockingly poor this season, and I think that'll help Mac out a lot, being a little bit more comfortable in the pocket, which obviously helps him. Had some big-time throws. He had some crazy throws against the Texans, but it was rendered ineffective with the lack of running game and ultimately the pressure getting to him. So being 21st in pressure rate if you're the Giants isn't great. The Giants are also 32nd in EPA per rush allowed and 26th in total EPA per play allowed. So their defense isn't good. Jackson Dart, if he's under pressure, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, a passer rating a little over 74. When he's not pressured, and the 49ers don't, I think they have the worst pressure rate in the NFL, he's obviously much more comfortable. He doesn't have a single interception, 4 touchdowns, no picks, over 100 passer rating. So if the 49ers can get to him even a little bit, I think Bryce Huff's out for this game, so that's going to be very rough. So you're going to need your rookie Williams to step up big here. I think he will. Giving the 49ers in a field goal game, Mac does well. They're 4-0 in one-score games. The Giants have a losing record in one-score games. So give me the 49ers. They win 23-20. They cover the -2.5 points spread, and that is your Week 9's edition of the Harvey Hot Hand. And as always, I bring you in here to tell me what I did wrong, or what rather. I
don't think you did anything wrong.
So you agree with my picks? Just the
I
first
agree
week
with
I
them,
go
but
5-5.
I want to know why you didn't pick the Rams over the Saints. It's
Way too big of a point spread.
14 points. You don't like that.
I mean, think about it. The Ravens, when their defense was still piss poor, I had the Rams covering, and they barely covered. I think it was, 13.5? They won by 14 points.
How
So
about the Bears over the Bengals?
They were my 6th pick.
Nice.
The DeAndre Swift injury, that hurts.
That's a problem.
That hurts for me.
Okay.
My backup picks were the Broncos, the Bears, and the Cowboys. Those are also 3-point spreads I love.
The Jags over the
You're trusting the Jaguars?
Raiders?
You're trusting the Jaguars?
They're playing the Raiders. I mean,
Again, you're trusting the Jaguars? I don't.
Well, I wouldn't have picked it. Probably not. But I think the let me see your picks again there.
Sure.
I think that San Francisco Giants game is going to be very close.
Oh, I think it will be. Thank God it's 2.5.
The others, I think.
I get that field
The
goal.
others, I feel very, very comfortable with.
Okay.
So that would be the only one I would have
Well, there we go. All right, that wraps it up for this spooky edition of the Harvey Hour. We thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We had a very good show tonight, so we thank you, obviously, for the constant support you give us here at the Harvey Hour. We'll be back on Tuesday, trade deadline. I'm sure we'll be discussing a lot, hopefully, that goes down at the trade deadline.
The Dolphins are trading their whole team.
I want to see some massive moves. I want to see some major moves. The Patriots, apparently, they're amping up for a big-time move.
So many teams that have such, as you said, terrible records, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they unload some players to get some draft picks?
That's
right?
a great question.
Yeah, I think they need that, right? Who do you like tonight in the?
I told you when we made the picks. I have Blue Jays in 6, so it's coming down to exactly what I said.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers are pitching Yamamoto.
Yamamoto has back-to-back complete games.
Yeah.
So that scares me a little bit. But
He might be tired. Maybe he's a little tired.
I mean, you pitch 18 innings the last 2 starts. I mean, that's going to be interesting. But I do think the Blue Jays will get it done. I just think right now they're hitting significantly better. they're making the Dodgers use their bullpen. The bullpen is kind of falling out a little bit, which was their concern. They were really good early in the series, and then they've fallen out a little bit. The Blue Jays' bats are on fire. And also, I think Gosman's starting for the Blue Jays tonight.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. I'm taking the Blue Jays. I mean, I'm sticking with my initial pick. Blue Jays in 6.
Yeah, they're going to have to get to
First
Yamamoto.
World Series win since the early 90s.
Yeah.
So glad they're there. Toronto gets another World Series win in my prediction. Even then, you're staying in Toronto for Game 7. You're going to lose back-to-back at home? I can't see it with the way the Blue Jays have been playing.
Ohtani will be pitching on the 7th game.
Ohtani struggled a little bit the last time he was out there, so I don't know if that's exactly a positive thing. But, yeah, go Blue Jays. You had picked the Dodgers in 7. I just want to put that out there. So
well,
I
we'll
took a little bit of a risk.
I wouldn't mind the Blue Jays winning this. I mean, the Dodgers, they have so many good players. I mean, it's like an all-star
You think it's bad
team.
for baseball?
I do. I think
You're not rooting for Mookie Betts?
The best team money can buy, I don't like. I was happy. Mookie Betts won a World Series with them, 2, actually.
Yeah.
He doesn't need any more. He's got 3 World Series wins. That's enough. But give the Blue Jays a win. Give the Blue Jays a win. Get somebody else to be able to celebrate. You know?
I'm with that.
Yeah.
Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero does something his dad didn't.
I would say, though, if the Blue Jays don't win tonight, it's going to be very hard for them tomorrow night. Or whatever, Sunday. Maybe it's Sunday night they play. Probably Sunday night. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the pressure is going to be enormous.
Well, what about the Dodgers?
Well, the Dodgers have been there.
Oh, that's
They've
true.
been
Okay, that's
there.
fair. That's fair.
Right.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, they also have an all-star lineup.
Right. They have Ohtani pitching.
Max Muncy, you have Ohtani, you have Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Go
Come
down
on,
the
it's
list.
Down the list, and they have good pitching.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, a good
And
starting
everybody
pitcher.
will be available in the 7th game if it gets that far.
they played 18 innings a couple games ago as well. So,
Yeah.
by the way, remember the first ever 18-inning World Series game? Remember that one?
Red Sox. Yeah, they lost.
Yeah.
And then they wound up winning the series, right? It could be the same thing for the Blue Jays. They lost that game, 18 innings.
Yeah.
Now they have a chance to win tonight.
Well, there you go.
We'll see.
Was the Red Sox one also in 6?
Yes, I think they did.
So this could be again, history tends to repeat itself.
Yeah.
So I think this could be an opportunity for the Blue Jays to come up big here. I just want to check that out real quick. Did they win in 6? They won in 5. Won in 5.
Was it 5?
It was 5.
Oh, wow.
That was the only loss. I still remember after Manny Machado cleated to
We
Dustin
stayed up
Pedroia.
till 3 a.m. watching that
Well,
game.
you did. Well, you know,
No, you did too. You were up.
we didn't watch it together then. I was probably in my room. The final strikeout, it's ingrained in my mind. Dropping Machado to one knee. I think it was Chris Sale who came into relief as well. After Machado cleated Dustin Pedroia and effectively ended his career because he never really came back from that injury.
No.
You know,
Sure.
dropping him to one knee, winning the World Series. Mookie Betts had an insane year that year. Well, there it is. But that does wrap up today's show. Go Blue Jays for me. You have the Dodgers, so can't root for them. But yeah, we'll be back Tuesday. Trade deadline is also, of course, Week 9 breakdowns. Chiefs, Bills is going to be a big game this week. We'll see. Maybe some upsets. We'll figure out how well we did at the end of the week. I can't really catch any ground on you besides the Buffalo Bills in the win-loss. So,
Well, we'll be watching that game.
absolutely. All right, for this one, though, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's me. That's Stephen Harvey. We have been your host of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.